Hi guys, welcome to the episode 3 breakdown. This was an amazing episode as I feel we got a lot of content here relating to many things George implemented and was inspired by. In saying this, we'll just jump straight into it. We begin where we left AHSOKA, Sabine and Huyang with their T6 Jedi shuttle travelling through hyperspace en route to Cetos. Huyang is instructing Sabine on saber techniques, as he has 4 sabers ignited resembling General Grievous, although the blades are training holograms, I suppose you could call it. Sabine is using a training saber as Huyang is calling out various sets for her to execute. At the completion of their exercises, Huyang examines where Sabine's strikes were connecting with his hologram blades, and I found this to be a really cool teaching device. AHSOKA questions if Sabine should try Zatoichi, which as we see is the form of blind sparring. Huyang, brutally honest as ever, isn't sure Lady Ren is ready, however AHSOKA proceeds. I was a huge fan of this part of the scene as we see Star Wars go back to its roots, taking inspiration from samurai styles as George Lucas had done. Sabine puts on her visor, commenting, "I can't see, how am I supposed to fight?" A direct callback to when Obi-Wan put the training helmet on Luke in A New Hope. This has given us the first look into what I believe will result in Sabine being able to wield the Force, with AHSOKA instructing her to open her mind as using the Force takes a deeper commitment. AHSOKA taps her on the shoulder and back from various angles as Sabine attempts to adapt to these new circumstances. She has some success, striking AHSOKA's blade multiple times in a row before AHSOKA gently pushes her leg from under her and she falls. Cautioning Sabine, she warns her that anger and frustration are quick to give power, however they also unbalance you. The Anakin influence is apparent when she tells Sabine they'll go again. On board a Mon Calamari Star Cruiser, we find Hera Syndulla as she is entering a conference meeting with Senate members led by Mon Mothma. Chancellor Mothma engages in pleasantries with Hera first, asking how Jacen is going, who is the child she shares with Kanan as we saw in the final episode of Rebels. They get down to business where General Syndulla provides a briefing of her investigation into what happened aboard the ship Morgan Elsbeth was broken out of, which led her to the Santh shipyards on Corellia. She explains her encounter with the Imperial sympathizers. However, the senators believe this to be where the story ends, as they were arrested with an investigation pending. Hera attempts to warn them about the threat of Thrawn returning, and what this could mean for the galaxy. Mon Mothma appears to be receptive, or at least sympathetic. However, the senators don't want to hear it, putting this down to Hera wanting to use New Republic resources as a way to search for Ezra, who they presume dead alongside Thrawn. It is this sort of arrogance and deliberate ignorance from the New Republic that allowed the First Order to rise years later. As Hera walks out, we see Jacen Syndulla make his live-action debut, running up behind her, asking if it's true that Aunt Sabine is going to be a Jedi, before exclaiming that he wants to be a Jedi. Calling her Aunt Sabine really reinforces the family nature of the Ghost crew, and it's really nice to see that it's flowed down to Jacen. AHSOKA is very calm when dealing with the frustrated Sabine in what is one of my favourite scenes in the episode here, where AHSOKA explains a bit of the lore surrounding the Force. She elaborates that the Force resides in all living things, however talent does play a factor, and the discipline required to master it makes it a journey that is not for everybody. AHSOKA leaves her with a lesson of patience by moving a small cup towards her and telling her to start small. This clearly resonates with Sabine as she tells her master she'll give it her best. Some fans may not agree with Sabine probably using the Force later on, however with the explanation that Dave has provided here, this makes sense and I'm more than okay with it. AHSOKA joins Huyang in the cockpit where they discuss Sabine's progress, and Huyang gives us an insight into the Mandalorian history within the Jedi, saying there have been very few, indicating there was more than one at least. In the past, I've only been aware of Tar Vizsla, the creator of the Darksaber, so this comment stood out to me. I suppose Din Grogu is one now too. Huyang continues by telling AHSOKA that she comes from a long line of non-traditional Jedi, so perhaps Sabine does fit in after all. We see the camera move ever so slowly in on AHSOKA's face as she ponders that comment, and I thought we were going to get a flashback scene. I was ready to lose my mind. Sabine is trying to move the small cup, really concentrating, however to no success, as she is called to the cockpit with an update from Hera. I'm really glad they didn't make the cup move just a tiny bit or something like that. It's going to be a longer journey with Sabine if she is to be a Force wielder. Having been notified that they won't be receiving any backup, they drop out of hyperspace further away from Cetos, as is standard Jedi protocol according to Huyang. 6 enemy ships appear behind them, 2 of them being Marok and Shin, and we can see her using what appears to be a Jedi-issued headset. A dogfight ensues, which was absolutely amazing, and another "this is Star Wars" moment, as Huyang begins a scan on this large object, which they would soon discover to be the Eye of Sion. We hear Marok's voice for the first time as he responds to Shin's order to break off to avoid being hit by Morgan's turbo lasers as they fire at the T6. His voice is very distorted and does in fact sound a lot like Starkiller in his suit, but I'll leave that for another video. The turbo lasers fire a critical shot at their Jedi shuttle, effectively leaving them dead in space, with Huyang offline just as he completed his scan of the hyperspace ring. I've noticed Shin and Morgan seem to have a bit of a rivalry too, with each of them criticising the other for not finishing off the ship. We got a super cool scene here where AHSOKA leaves Sabine to the repairs while she goes outside of the ship and defends it, even slicing one of the enemies up with her sabers. This is something that we have seen the likes of Plo Koon, Anakin, and Ezra do previously, 3 Jedi that have had major impacts on Ahsoka at different points in her life. Sabine gets the ship up and running again when they enter the atmosphere of Cetos to find themselves face to face with Purgles. They look absolutely fantastic in live action. Ahsoka and Sabine give each other a smile, and I think that this is an encouraging sign for them, as the last time anyone saw Ezra was also the last time they had seen a Purgle. Sabine uses these creatures to her advantage as she ducks and weaves through them, losing Marek and Shin, allowing them to land in the forest unbothered. But now, Huyang's backup battery kicks in as he projects his completed scan of the Eye of Sion. He details how the hyperspace ring is incomplete, yet marvels at its power, and the abilities it possesses, such as intergalactic travel if the coordinates are known. I don't think it's been confirmed yet if it can dock ships. Assuming it can, I predict we may see it reach Thrawn and dock his infamous Chimera Star Destroyer. Baylan makes his first appearance in this episode, aware of the Jedi being located in the forest, and instructing his soldiers and the HK droids to hunt them down. He stands there looking very conflicted, backing up from episode 2 with him saying it would be a shame to kill Ahsoka. I believe there is more to their relationship than just having been Jedi in the past. This episode was absolutely amazing. Short and sweet, however it really has set up the next 2 weeks with what we know is coming, with Baylan vs Ahsoka, discussing Anakin, Shin vs Sabine again, and then Marek vs Ahsoka as well, where I hope we learn more about his identity. Not to forget that the Chosen One will be making an appearance in episode 5 at the latest, I predict. This was a very George Lucas type episode, making me very happy. Until next time, may the Force be with you, always.